Kia ora, hello, I'm Philip Duncan. Thanks for joining us for our Tuesday update, recorded on the 3rd of September. We've got a cold front moving up the country after another very windy night around parts of the South Island, especially around Canterbury. Now that windy weather is moving into the North Island, and by 6 o'clock this evening, this line here is the weak cold front moving through, and the sort of blue colour to it means that's the area with the highest risk of showery weather as it moves on through. Now, behind it, you can see this southerly airflow, south to southwesterly coming through. So it will be cooler around the South Island over the next 12 hours, 24 hours, and then that colder airflow moves into the North Island overnight tonight and across Wednesday. It's fairly short-lived though. By Thursday, you'll start to see a change arriving. So let's explain lunchtime Wednesday, because I told you Thursday's got a change coming. This is it over here. But for Wednesday itself, we've still got that southerly flow around the North Island. It might turn a bit more southeast, which is actually not bad news, because it means for Waited Upper, Hawke's Bay, going up towards Gisborne, you're going to get a bit of wet weather coming from this system. That's important at this time of the year with those windy westerlies drying out eastern areas. Won't be a huge amount of rain though around, so keep up to date with your local rainfall totals. Let's go into the temperatures. Notice the cooler change. In yesterday's temperature map, there were 20s on it. Now we're seeing 13s in some of those places. So the lower part of the North Island, probably noticing it the most, but even northern areas, look at that, 15s when it was into the 20s just a couple of days ago. And further to the south, not really so bad, but it is a little bit cooler, not major though. So here is that Thursday change. It is a west to northwesterly wind. So that's going to lift up the temperatures again on Thursday around the South Island. It is mostly dry, but the west coast sees a few showers in there. It's still a bit cool or cold around the North Island when you wake up in the morning. Still a bit of a southerly flow around, but it is quite short-lived, because by Friday, you're now also, the North Island also getting that westerly flow out of Australia. So when the wind comes out of Australia, it's coming from Queensland and central areas where it is much hotter by day. So that airflow is actually quite mild for this time of the year. It warms up even more as it crosses over our hills and ranges. The same way, when you jump down on the ground too fast and you get a bit of carpet burn, well, the same thing happens with the wind as it passes over our hills and ranges. That's why a nor'wester is so warm sometimes in the east. It's that friction of the air rubbing against the ground as it moves over, rolling over it, lifts up those temperatures, and we start to see higher numbers in the east. And that's what we will start to see here on Friday as that warm air slides down the hills and ranges to our east. Now this weekend, severe weather risks return. We've got a storm down here around about 960, 959 hectopascals. That drives in some heavy rain over here, that low does, but also the wind. And so severe gales through the southern Alps, severe gales possibly in some coastal areas to the south, and also severe gales are possible through central New Zealand as windy west to northwest winds. The further north you go, those winds start to ease back, although they're still a bit blustery, especially in coastal areas, and that heavy rain slowly moving northwards. Doesn't do much on Sunday. That is the leftover of the front hooked into that low that is moving away, 954 hectopascals. So as that low tracks past, it's deepening. That's why we're seeing windy weather, and the high up here puts a cap on it. It doesn't sort of allow it to go all the way up New Zealand. And so by Sunday, the winds start to ease in the north here. Shouldn't be too bad, but the rain does continue over on the west coast, and still gale force winds slamming Tasmania. They've had damage as well as Canterbury over the last few days. And that is all from me for this Tuesday. Don't forget, our Climate Watch update is now out. We cover the month of September. If you want to know what's going on with these sort of westerly blasts, take a look at that video and news update. You find them at ruralweather.co.nz, weatherwatch.co.nz, or download our new app. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow.